The path for us is definitely security tokens. We basically see this as our edge. The financial innovation and financial engineering that this technology and token unlock is infinite. I think there is a good chance that we tokenize everything by 2030.
Yes, dude, yes. That's what I was going for. Yes, welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. Today, I sit down with two of the leadership at INX and discuss the insane future that is security tokens in 2023 and beyond, and how this affects you and me as crypto investors. Now, INX is a partner of the channel. We're speaking to their Chief Blockchain Officer, John, as well as their Chief Product Officer, Maya. And in this conversation, we discuss what is INX, how are they SEC compliant and able to offer security tokens, how big will security tokens be in the next few years, as well as specific use cases that you and me can take advantage of. And the big question, John presents this to us: should Altcoin Daily tokenize this channel? I encourage you to like the video to support me, as well as click the link down below to learn more. What is INX and how is it different than other digital asset exchanges?
Maya?
Well, I would start by saying that when we started off in late 2017, it was very clear to us that the regulated way is the only way for this industry to really grow and be widely embraced and reach its fullest potential. We used to use this word a lot. It's important to be regulated, but I don't think it meant enough for customers, for even just people that we were talking with, even in our personal circles. But we already saw so many industries, that kind of grew on the side, and we saw how regulation came in, and nothing stays unsupervised forever. So we knew we wanted to be set up correctly from the start. We didn't want anything kind of hovering over us, any historical data that was kept not in the right way, or that we maybe accepted customers not in the right way. It was really important for us to be aligned from the get-go and be that ally, with regulators. That's why we went the route that we took for our own token offering. That's why we didn't start operating before we had all our proper licenses. And I think, back in 2017, 2018, people maybe didn't understand why we're going through all this effort or hassle. But now with the developments of the past few months, I think we got even more encouragement that was the right path for us.
And John, what is the roadmap for 2023? You're established now. I know you have had some security offerings, a handful in 2022. Is it just bigger and better, or something different?
Well, the path for us is definitely security tokens. We basically see this as our edge. We have the licenses to be able to operate, in a regulated fashion for, anything related to security tokens. And the question is, what security token means at the end of the day, right? Because we had token offerings, for the past 5, 6, 7 years. I think everybody in the industry is aware of the hurdle that the regulator basically give to the industry, especially now, with the SEC and all that. So I think there is a big potential for traditional player to jump in this industry. But what's really missing is basically the framework, the securities framework that exists now for the past 100 years, right? And just to apply that framework to this new amazing technology that is blockchain. Because with security token, everything can be done, more efficiently, peer-to-peer. You have this entirely new way of doing things that bring finance into the digital world, basically. So the focus of the company is to basically kickstart this market. I think we are in a unique position to be able to do that. And the way we see that is giving the ability to companies to raise money, right? But instead of raising money for equity, instead of raising money for debt, you're going to basically sell tokens, right? And this is something that exists for the past, I would say, 3-4 years already. But the reason why this market didn't really jump is because issuers were missing the full solution. And INX has the full solution to unlock this potential. And the full solution means the ability to conduct a primary offering, the ability to have the token traded on an ATS in the US, and the ability for a transfer agent to actually manage the book and records on behalf of the issuers. And those three things INX is able to do. So the ability to give this full package to issuers will definitely drive our roadmap and our business in 2023.
Is this the INX way, the raising money in a totally compliant way?
Definitely. Like I said, there is a lot of work, educational work that needs to be done. And the best idea we had to be able to, spread our way, the INX way, is we basically wrote a book, right? We wrote a book that everybody actually is able to order on our website that explains exactly how we see the future, what is our vision, and how we are able to execute on it.
And this is a question for either of you, going back to security tokens, because to me, I can see that being a huge trend in the next decade, especially as regulation comes down on this industry post FTX. What are the use cases for security tokens that average people, businesses would care about?
You said average people and businesses. So when you say businesses, I'm thinking about it from the issuer's point of view and average people from the investor's point of view.
Correct. I want both.
Okay. Well, from the business's point of view, we have actually 3 different use cases that I'll let John talk about a little more, maybe in a bit. From the investor's point of view, what we talk about a lot, and really the quite revolutionary thing that went along with our own offering that was conducted in 2020 and early 2020 is just the leveling of the field, allowing retail investors to get in on an IPO, a token IPO, but nevertheless on an IPO that was just not an option for them previously. When traditional IPOs take place, it's very unusual that retail investors can, come in and invest $1,000, $2,000, even more, by the way. So maybe it's a bit presumptuous, but we like to talk a lot about the democratization that security tokens bring. But it's true. We saw it in our own offering that ended up with 7,200 retail token holders that were spread internationally. And that's something that just doesn't happen in the traditional markets. So that's, I think, a huge value that comes along with security tokens.
On the business side, and I think that there are a lot of potential use cases, very, very interesting ones. Like the first one that makes a lot of sense, especially in those times, is a recovery token, right? So now we see all those companies in the industry filing Chapter 11, right? So Chapter 11 basically means it's a legal process that allows the company to restructure and eventually, potentially reopen at the end of the day, right? And when you think about it, with a security token, you have the ability to distribute to all your creditors a token that will be able to be traded on the market that will represent the debt of the company to the creditor, right? And in the example of a Celsius, in the example of a Voyager, that's something that basically they can do technically, right? And it would basically means that if the company reopen after the Chapter 11 process, you can actually potentially allocate a percentage of the revenue of the new co to buying back the debt, right? The debt in the market, to eventually have all the creditors recover 100% of what they lost. And this is a revolutionary way to approach this type of situation. Because if not for a security token, basically the creditor doesn't have any choices. They have to take a big haircut, right? And they have to basically go along with the decision of the creditor committee, and just giving to all the creditor a token that they are able to do a few things with it. One, if they don't believe in the recovery of the company, they can just sell the token in the market. That's a way out. That's liquidity for them. Second, if they believe in the future of the company, then they can just hold the token and believe that the company in the future will buy back the entirety of the supply, and eventually the token will just tend to $1, right? Usually it's one token, $1 of debt. So the financial innovation and financial engineering that this technology and token unlock is infinite. And that's just one use case that obviously makes a lot of sense in those times where you have all those crypto companies just going bankrupt with not 100 creditors, but thousands and thousands of retail investors that certainly lost everything they had and become creditors of those companies. So it's also a tool to actually make all those creditors, stay around, right? Stick to the company, like continue to support it, right? When you have a financial interest in something that brings your level of, I would say, dedication to a whole different world. The second thing and second use case that could be unlocked is all the things related to the fund token, right? We actually discuss internally to tokenize Altcoin Daily, and that's something you should consider. And I tell you why. Because right now, people, influencers, YouTube channels, you guys are a business. Your person is actually a business. You're worth money. People are following you. People, you manage to actually attract all those attention and those eyes into your content, right? So it would actually make a lot of sense for you to even consider a security token offering where you would actually sell tokens to your audience, right? In exchange of a percentage of the revenue that the channel is making. It would actually give you the money to eventually expand, to grow, to create new content. And I think this is a very interesting approach that some companies are actually looking at right now. And security tokens is actually unlocking this potential. And finally, you have all the traditional financial instruments, bonds, equity, that are trading in the financial market right now, but are extremely inefficient. Basically, to be able to settle a financial instrument, it would take basically a T+2, right? 2 days, 2 business days for the financial institutions to actually get the securities they bought 2 days ago. So when you think about it, like the blockchain and security token can make all those processes instant settlement, full transparency, and I think that all the traditional world of finance will eventually move to it at some point.
My brother and I have been approached or just had this conversation before launching a fan token, since we're in so deep with cryptocurrency, we're so passionate about it anyway. And, other major platforms have sort of floated out there, approached us. They're not secure. You guys are fully compliant with the SEC. They're not. Do you see those companies failing, or do you get severely fined and having to switch? The future for them?
Listen, if you're trying to sell a token to someone, right, against money, the people you're selling to, they expect a profit out of these tokens, right? You just cannot claim that this is just a utility token and they are giving you money because they like you. It just doesn't fly, right? So as long as there is an investment contract between the company and the investors, and there is clear intent for the investor to actually make money, which is, let's be honest, 100% of this industry, right? the point here is that you can we have a legal framework to make it happen in a regulated way. And on top of it, if you're looking to actually distribute part of your revenue or part of your profit to your token holder, this is clearly a security. So there is just no other way to unlock all this potential. That's just going the INX way.
Maya, question for you.
Actually another. Sorry, I was just going to say that's also actually another use case of the security token. You know, fan clubs, if it's whether it's a sports club or different examples. So right up our alley.
Who's INX's biggest competitor from a product point of view?
Listen, there really isn't another platform out there that offers everything that we offer in the same place with the same account, same login credentials. We have maybe competitors for different aspects of what we offer, of course, on the crypto trading side or on the security token listing side or security token primary offering. But there is no other platform that does all three side by side. So I can't name even one. I'm sorry.
Another big component of INX is the work with stablecoins and CBDCs. You guys had an agreement, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, SICPA, or you please correct me.
SICPA, exactly. Yeah,
what
exactly.
What does that entail, and what does the CBDC market look like for you guys in 2023?
Sorry. John, SICPA relationship, you want to take that?
Sure. So basically SICPA is a family-owned company that exists for the past 100 years, right? They are basically working with more than 150 government or countries around the world to be able to produce basically their bills, their notes, right? The cash, basically, for all those countries, right? And obviously, when you're doing that for the past 100 years and you see basically everything going digital and central bank talking about, CBDC, then, you feel basically that you have to change something, right? Because you see where the world is going. So
reinvent yourself or stay behind.
Exactly. So this company decided to partner with us. We actually launched a JV together that will be basically in charge of building solutions for central bank to be able to create central bank digital currencies that would eventually replace cash eventually down the road. So we already, it's quite here already, right? The European Central Bank is looking at, 2025, 2026 for, first pilots to actually go live. The Fed is also looking into it on the wholesale side. The Swiss, so you have basically a lot of the countries that are, already into that. So, we see this as the natural next evolution of money, of fiat, right? You have the cryptocurrencies, which is one asset class, right? This is considered commodities. This is fully decentralized network. This is one asset class. The second asset class are securities. Securities are investment, right? And that allow people to actually make business between them, right? And this also can be tokenized and be on the blockchain. And the final, I would say that the missing component is the fiat money, right? The money that is issued by countries and governments. And even that is actually moving into the blockchain, right? So when you have this expertise about how things work in the security token world, in cryptocurrencies, it's actually not that hard to apply those things to fiat currencies. Now, obviously, it's a highly regulated industry, right? There is a big hurdle, but we believe that with this relationship with SICPA, we'll be able to penetrate this market and eventually change the way people use and interact with money.
What will the cryptocurrency market, and I'm including security tokens and CBDCs and everything, what will the crypto market look like by 2030, do you think?
2030, you said?
2030. Is it going to be all security tokens? Is the stock market going to be totally tokenized? What do you guys think?
I don't see the stock market being fully tokenized by 2030, I have to say. We haven't coordinated our answers, so let's see what John thinks. I can't see that happening in the next 7 years just because I see how companies that are not in the blockchain space, that are not, that their product isn't blockchain based, isn't crypto related, I see how far they still are from this whole idea of digitizing and blockchain and distributed ledgers. And we talk a lot that when we're in our company or other companies in the industry, it's like you're speaking almost a different language. When you're just hanging out with your friends, you all of a sudden realize, oh, not everyone knows A, B, C, D. Like, it still has pretty far way to go to be widely embraced. So I think to see the entire stock market security tokens by 2030, it's a bit ambitious, but that just shows how big the potential is and what how many companies we have to get through until we get there. But I think already now, if we look at our current offerings, to me, actually, it's interesting to see that those companies aren't from the blockchain space, which is maybe surprising to some at our company, at least. And when I think of cryptocurrencies, that's also something I have to say that even in our company, people are very divided on. Are cryptocurrencies really still here to stay, or is it going to evolve into something different? And Bitcoin, Ethereum, will stay this niche. So even in our company, I can say there are different views.
John?
I think there is a good chance that we tokenize everything by 2030.
Yes, dude. Yes. That's what I was going for.
And I tell you why. When you think about the stock markets, right? The previous evolution was basically from papers, right? People were basically changing piece of papers on the Wall Street floor. And then what happened? Computers came out and internet came out, right? So I would say a time span of maybe 15, 20 years, the change was drastic, right? It's like you cannot even recognize what it was and what it is. So when you look at the evolution of technology itself and how things are even more modern and more sophisticated, well, I think that those type of changes will happen even faster, right? So considering the fact that blockchain technology exists for the past 12 years, 13 years, basically, I can think how it's going to accelerate very, very, very quickly, and how much things can be done in I would say the next 10 years. I think the world will be in a very different place 10 years from now in terms of technology, blockchain adoption, and tokenization.
Let's finish up. I just want to make sure we hit all the...
I hope John's right between the two of us, by the way. But
let's come back to this interview in 7-ish years, and we're gonna check back in. For 2023, though, what else can we expect? We touched on it a little. What else can we expect for INX in 2023?
I would say we spent our first couple of years really investing a lot in our technology, in our ability to scale, in building the platform correctly in a solid way. And 2023 is going to be concentrated around spreading the word of the security tokens and seeing more and more security tokens come to life on our platform. For security tokens to arrive to the secondary market, they have to be issued, and we understood that, and understood we have to be a much more dominant player for the primary offering stages. And I would say that's our biggest focus in 2023.
John?
Yes, it's definitely a big challenge, you know. By the way, we have a new company going live on INX, basically January 30. This company is called Turncoin, and what they are looking to do is tokenizing talents, tokenizing people, right?
What's it
so
called?
They have this.
Say it again.
Turncoin.
Turncoin.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So this company is completely revolutionary. I've never seen anything like that. They are taking talent that I think, you know, very known figures in the United States, and they plan to, you know, tokenize them, create those fun tokens around all those, you know, NBA players, NFL players, right? Create this market that let people invest in this basically sports player that you know, they love or they believe into, and I think this will unlock a huge market. So we really hope that you know, this company is going to be a catalyst in terms of, you know, all the things that can be done with security tokens. But you know, more broadly, we definitely see a huge pipeline. We are talking to a lot of companies, very different ones, startups, funds, ESG companies. So you have all those different startups and companies from basically all the industries that are looking into security tokens. And that shows something. That shows that basically the way we do things can be applied to any industry and anything you want at the end of the day. If the key here is because it's regulated, you have a legal document that is called a prospectus, right? A PPM, private placement memorandum. And in this private placement memorandum, you are able to explain to potential investors what they get, right? Exactly what they get. So you actually give the level of transparency that investor deserves. Does it mean it's going to be a good investment? Nobody knows. But the key of regulation is not judging if an investment is going to be good or bad, but it's actually to give the tools to investors to be able to make, I would say, an educated judgment on the company itself, right? So, and that's what was missing during the ICO days. So, you know, we are really focusing on bringing all those companies from various industry into the platform, coming to raise money. And we want to, hopefully by the end of 2023, have, you know, 10, 15, 20 security tokens being traded on our platform, and another 20, 30, 40 raising money on INX. And you can imagine, you know, it will bring this world of security token and INX into a whole different ball game world, right? So we are really focusing on that. We are increasing our sales capabilities, and you know, we see a lot of inbound interest from people that, you know, we don't even know. So we feel that it's catching up, and we feel the potential. And in 2023, we are looking at basically materializing it, basically.
Awesome. And I want to remind the audience, if they want to check out more of INX or what you got going on in 2023, all links are down below. Check them out. Before I let you guys go, Douglas Borthwick, he's explained this to me before. We've had him on the show. But just remind me, like the INX token isn't listed on like the popular DEXs now because it's a different token standard, or will security tokens need their own DEX, or they're not? How come it's not listed on exchanges, the INX token, for example, besides the INX exchange?
Well, the answer is quite simple.
They're lacking that. Sorry.
No, I mean the INX token is a security, right? To be able to trade a security, you need to have a security license, right? So either a national exchange in the US or an ATS license out of the US, right? And this gives you the ability under the SEC or the regulator to be able to match trade between investors in the context of securities, okay? Coinbase doesn't have those licenses. Gemini doesn't have those licenses. Remember, we are a US regulated platform, right? So if you look at all the over US cryptocurrency exchanges, none of them has the licenses to be able to trade security tokens, right? And hopefully we expect more to join us, right? We want more in a platform to join us and trade security tokens, right? But obviously it's just easier to kick off a cryptocurrency exchange because it doesn't have any clear regulation around it and
lower regulatory hurdle.
Cool. So this is our edge, basically. This is the hurdle that we created versus all the other platforms and competitors.
Guys, I learned so much. Again, links for all your stuff are down below. Final thoughts for the Altcoin Daily audience, starting with Maya.
Whew. I guess just going back to our last point, you know, when we finished up with our token offering, it was April 2020, and we thought 2020 was going to be the year of the security tokens. And after what we showed can be accomplished by a security token raise, but that was slow going, and in terms of being embraced by different companies in the space. And I hope 2023 will be the year where everyone catches on to this great tool.
I think Maya summed it up very well. The last thing I would say is, Austin, let's tokenize Altcoin Daily.
Altcoin Daily.
I'll leave it up to the audience. They're my true north. I want to hear from the audience down below. Would you like that?